we investigated whether quality of life assessment is common in randomized controlled trials in the setting of metastatic non-small cell lung cancer. This study comes from previous publications in which we found that the rate of assessment of QoL is very low. I mean, there's a large fraction of trials that is not assessing quality of life, and even when it is assessed, the results are not reported in the published papers. So after this first analysis, we also wanted to know whether there is a correlation between the quality of life results and the efficacy results, basically the data about overall survival and the progression-free survival led by experimental treatments in non-small cell lung cancer. Well, this may be interesting because as an oncologist community, we generally pay a lot of attention in terms of efficacy results. We are excited by new drugs that can lead to increase in survival rates. But sometimes we forget the importance of quality of life in these patients when they receive anti-cancer treatments. And so basically, we wanted to understand whether there's a correlation between the results in terms of efficacy of these new drugs and how they affect the quality of life. And to do this, we investigated the literature and which are the publications of randomized controlled trials that we have so far in literature. Basically, we investigated the PubMed database, and we found more than 150 trials that were published from 2012 to 2021. Those were only trials investigating new drugs in patients with metastatic or locally advanced non-small cell lung cancer. For our analysis, we were able to select only 81 trials because those were the only trials in which we had results of quality of life, and also we had at least PFS or overall survival data. And what we found was that only in less than 40% of trials also had positive quality of life results data. And in about 59% of the trials that we found, there was not a statistically significant benefit in terms of quality of life due to the novel anti-cancer treatment compared to the control arm. Next, we wanted to investigate whether there's a correlation between the QoL results and efficacy results based on drug classes. And we found that there is no correlation between QoL improvements and efficacy results in trials testing chemotherapy or immunotherapy. Instead, we found a positive correlation in terms of progression-free survival, but not in terms of overall survival, in the trials testing targeted therapies. And these results are even stronger in terms of statistics for trials testing EGFR or ALK inhibitors. And finally, we found that we only selected the 51 trials in which we had negative results in terms of quality. But although they were negative based on our analysis or our interpretation, we found that in studies that were sponsored by industries, by companies, the QoL results were still presented as a positive, or at least they had a positive description, so overestimating the real benefit in terms of quality of life associated with these novel anti-cancer therapies. So these are the main results, and we hope to increase in the future the number of the papers that we can include in this analysis. And hopefully in the future there will be an increasing number of trials testing quality of life, not only in the methods, but we will have an increasing number of trials also publishing the results of quality of life, because sometimes some trials lack this important information. We think that it may be very important to know whether an improvement in QoL results may predict a response to treatment, because basically the response to treatment is assessed using radiological examination, CT scans, or MRI, depending on the sites of disease. But we think that if we are able to prospectively evaluate the quality of life using specific tools, specific tests, the data coming from QoL assessment can anticipate the radiological examination. And so this may anticipate our understanding of the real benefit that anti-cancer treatment is having in our patients. And also we aim to further convince the oncology community, particularly the investigators who are involved in randomized controlled trials, to increase and to improve the assessment of quality of life, and more importantly, to increase the publication of this data, because sometimes we do not find this data in publications. You just can think that from the 158 trials that we found publishing in the last 10 years in the field of metastatic non-small cell lung cancer, we could only select 81 trials, because in all the other trials, the QoL data were not published, meaning that there's a large fraction of randomized phase 3 controlled trials that are lacking this information. I just hope that that this article, but mainly all the works from colleagues who work in the field of quality of life assessment, can further convince our colleagues in the oncology community that assessment of quality of life is very important for our patients. So it is something that we need to improve in our clinical practice, but also particularly in phase 3 trials.